bring it up.
I can't see yet because he hadn't gone live on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, cool.
One of the things we like to do, Josh, is go live just a couple of minutes before and then maybe just close the after show on YouTube to give the people that are willing to turn this into a television show more than the people that are just willing to download an iTunes file.
Yeah, cool.
And then there's less rules, but during that time period, we'll let you know, and we'll go. So when we go live, as far as the recording is concerned, we'll tell you, and then what'll happen is, because we read a Patreon commercial and we do a little hoot holler and we play some background music.
I watched it. I watched it.
Oh, okay, cool. So you may not hear us for upwards of a minute.
The hand thing.
Yeah, you got it.
Skew. So are we live yet? I don't.
Yeah, we're live.
Okay,
we're live.
I won't say what I was going to say then. I'll tell Josh later.
Should be getting the notifications here that we're.
Oh yeah, my phone should start. Actually, I think I've got it turned off on both accounts. So.
Yeah, I don't know how it works.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but I'm going to YouTube now so that I can see it. I want to see the Dale. Yeah, sure.
There we go.
Did you see that picture I found? I mean, I didn't even match that together myself. It was Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, that
on
was
one
awesome.
side
That was brilliant.
With
with
the Braves hat, and it was Bill Elliott's. I think that's from 1997.
Yeah. I think it was. It was 97-ish, I guess, right?
Yeah, because of the first year. I believe the first year of the Taurus was 97. I'm not positive about that, but there are some details about the history of NASCAR that we just kind of don't have the attention. There's an attention deficit issue that starts to come into play.
Let's see. We got Beast. We got Tony. We got Laura. So Beast says, "Hey guys, finally covered my YouTube Star Wars conspiracy UFO channels. All right, he's working on all of it. Ready for some PETM podcast. Can't think of a better way to spend the State of the Union address.
Awesome.
Oh crap, I forgot that was happening tonight. Good. Yeah, we'll.
The State of the Union is tonight?
Yeah.
Good grief.
You know, I only knew that.
You didn't know that?
This is how little I pay attention to politics.
Well, so I only knew this because I was at the gym yesterday. Every TV was on them prepping for the State of the Union. I'm like, well, when is it? Is it like in an hour? But it's like tomorrow night. I'm like, what are y'all so excited about? Jeez. I don't know. We don't know.
What are you thinking is you're going to hear? Anyway, I'll stop there.
Yeah, we don't do politics.
We try not to do anything political. It just there's no benefit from it because like you're only going to rah one crowd and other crowds going to be
Isn't
pissed.
that sad though? A little bit. I feel like you should be able to, but people are just so tricky.
You know, my problem is I poo-poo
I'd
on.
like to have a fun discussion, but you just can't these days.
Here's the thing. I just poo-poo on everybody. So the problem in me talking politics is I'll just piss everybody in the room off. Like,
you get everybody.
Oh yeah. If you want to say something pro-Trump, I'll mow you into the into the ground. And if you want to go anti-Trump, well, how about this thing? And then everybody else is upset. I don't know.
I think so. About once every, I don't know. It seems like once a quarter, and we just now were able to coin a term for the segment. Is we have a Let's Talk Society because something will come up that we just have to address.
Yeah, sure.
And it'll be politically related. Like, the one that we did, we didn't know yet that would be a cool segment name, but we talked about when South Carolina pulled the rebel flag down at the courthouse and how that was a really good decision.
Right.
Yeah. And then what the implications might be for NASCAR fans, and there's been some change there.
Laura Beast, Marianne.
But you definitely, every NASCAR track we've been to, that flag's still just a going.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. I mean, people going to do what they do, and that's fine.
Yeah. All right.
Travis Campbell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't care.
That's what it comes down to. I don't care. So what I like to do is just, mess with people. So you've listened to the show before, so you know how we intro it. The one thing you might not have heard before is that while we're doing our intros, you may lose us completely. And I don't know why that happens. But just know that we're still there. It's like a minute and a half. Even after telling people that, I've had people like text me and go, "Hey, I lost you. What's going on?" We're still there. Everything's good. So we'll what'll happen is once the intro music goes away, you'll hear us come in and we'll intro you far ahead in advance and all that. Otherwise, since you've listened to the show before, you kind of know how it goes. So, I don't think we have
straight
to,
in the ditch.
Yeah,
avoid
straight
the
in
fire hydrants.
Yep, exactly. Which is something that Colin didn't do that time. You weren't there that time.
No, I missed that one.
The app didn't start.
I was still a
no.
Michigander at that time.
All right. Don't you know? Let's see. Open with this thing that doesn't suck. There we go. That's going to be the theme song. I'm not starting quite yet, but that's at least got that ready to roll.
Okay, so let's see. We're still off air here.
We're on YouTube.
San Antonio. Well, we're not on.
Oh, yeah.
So we have a listener in the wall there wants to know what San Antonio Brown is.
What am I?
Well,
yeah,
what's
how did you come
handle?
up with that Twitter handle?
Yeah.
Well, my name's Josh Brown, and so there's a zillion Josh Browns, and it just wasn't available. And I was watching a game, and there was a guy playing football named Santonio Holmes.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
I'm aware of that human being.
And I made this was like years ago. I made the joke that I wish I had a cool name because my name is so boring. It's Josh Brown. I wish my name was Santonio Holmes. And it was a joke, and I think I started a Twitter account like the next day.
Oh,
that's all.
Sweet. What if you were like
Yeah.
Josh Brolin though? Then you'd be pretty flippin' cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
I guess it depends on whether your dad was like a famous actor and you were in Goonies.
Yeah.
That's some trivia right there. Jeez.
Wow.
On that bombshell, we ready to get started?
Why not? We might as well.
All right. Yep. We're already halfway into the ditch. Let's get all the way there by starting this show. Like I said, Josh, we might cut out here for a bit, but we'll be right back to you. And then at the end, just stick around and we'll hang out. It'll be fun. So, all right. Here goes nothing. Sherwin, you ready?
I am ready.
Josh, you ready to roll?
Ready.
Here goes nothing. Recording now. All right.
Yep.
Talladega to Daytona, Bristol, Charlotte, it's an normal way. NASCAR.
Welcome, y'all! That's right. This is the Pregame Engineer Tailgate Mayor Racing Podcast, episode number 131. It's Tuesday, January 30th, 2018. I'm Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace. I'm joining the PTM Podcast studio with Pregame Engineer Andrew Sherwin. What's up, dude?
You know what? I've been sitting around thinking about how excited I am for this guest. I really think that despite the fact that we've had some really awesome NASCAR, like, journalism people, that I'm actually really excited about having someone who is just as passionate about doing a fan-based hobby cast, as we call it, or podcast, about something that we love near and dear. As everybody can see, we're wearing our Atlanta Braves hats, and we are ready to talk some baseball.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit different today, but before we get to that, y'all know how we start this thing. This podcast, it's sponsored by you. You go to patreon.com/PTM, join the What You Drink Club for as little as $1 a month, get your free koozie and some stickers and stuff. Best part is, every cent in 2018, we're donating to sponsoring drivers. So join the PTM posse today and be a part of the sport you love. Sherwin, we have 20 people that I got to read off now. Here
Good
goes
luck.
nothing. This week's show is brought to you by
need
our official
oxygen?
sponsors at the $5 and up per month level. That's Catherine Kingston, Ashley Stang, Laura Henshaw, Harry Balzania, Mick Rose, Chad Sterling, Marianne Levesque, Patrick Cleary, Jeff Brown, Brandon Crowd, Kathleen McDonald, Stacey Wright, Brandon Carl, and welcome to the PTM Posse, Mr. Billy Workman.
Hell yeah.
How about that? Dude, that was my first one breath take in a
That
long
was pretty
time.
good. You didn't even laugh.
You know,
You said Harry Balzania, and I think you probably...
when Harry Balzania comes about, that usually gets me.
That's our Hungarian contributor.
So, dude, the Patreon stuff. So we're chugging along. We're doing our thing. I'm still surprised it takes this long to do this. Like, if I were not me and an outsider, I might be a little bit upset at how long it's taking to make this stuff happen. But freaking things are moving. Today we got the official word that the money's there. Like, we actually, all that fake money that was like on Patreon, like, it exists now in real dollar bill form. And
Oh, it's
stuff.
not Bitcoin anymore. It's like it's tangible.
Yeah, it actually exists. $1,253 that the PTM Posse raised last year, and I think that includes January this year. I said, well, I might as well just throw it all in there.
Sure.
So we just got to tie up the loose ends on who's getting that and sign the check over, and that'd be done. So really excited to do that. That's it's been a lot of fun to watch happen and see people get excited about it and send us messages. And so thank you to all the new folks. We'll get your stuff out to you very shortly. But, yeah, it's been really fun.
Yeah, so now we have to welcome in a very special guest, a guest who, like us, has a passion for talking on the internet radios.
Yeah, well, like you said at the beginning, this is I'll use two different terms. This guest is a little bit out of left field, pun intended.
Or
we're going to do a little chicane on this show, pun
left
intended.
or right, it depends on which.
So a little bit different tonight. So y'all stick with us. We're going to have some fun for sure. But our guest is a podcaster. He talks Braves baseball on the Knockahoma Nation show at Knockahoma NTN. I take it he's a NASCAR fan by his shirt. And apparently, according to his Twitter profile, is blocked by Toby Keith.
I asked him about that.
You can find him on Twitter at Santonio Brown. Welcome, Mr. Josh Brown. What's happening, man?
I'm honored to be here.
Same both ways. First,
there's the Dale Jr. double eights.
Yeah, he's got the 88. I love it. So, I mean, I can't intro you like that without hearing some sort of story about being blocked by Toby Keith.
Yeah, so so a few years
Is that the best
ago,
intro you've ever had?
Yeah, this starts in the ditch.
Yeah,
by the way.
here's
it starts
a guy,
right
here's a
in
guy
the ditch.
So I'll just cut to the chase. Toby Keith is a hack. A few years ago,
I love
he
Toby
wrote a
Keith.
song. He wrote. You can YouTube this, man. He wrote a song called "Bullets in a Gun."
I love that
and it
song. Don't tell me.
It sounds it's the same song as Robert Earl Keen's song "The Road Goes On Forever."
Well, no, that song. Oh,
man.
I see that. Yeah, I see that. Man, bullets in the gun.
Every now and then, like somebody will, because think, music is so it's so derivative now. So every now and then somebody will kind of rip somebody else off a little bit, but this one's pretty blatant.
That's a bummer.
Is that like comedy?
Well,
that's kind of hard to write.
Bullets
a new
in the
joke,
gun is
right?
like on my workout list. That thing. That song.
You're gonna get rusty into a dark place.
No, and as soon as you said the other song, I'm like, yep, I see that exactly. But I had never connected one. So let me guess, you made that not opinion, but that factoid public.
Yeah, I might have written a blog post about it or something. And, I might have.
Josh,
I didn't curse at him or anything. I just said, "Hey, Toby, why does this song sound so much like this song?" And he just blocked me.
Oh man!
Oh damn!
Every gun's on us, and every heartbeat pounding.
So one of the things I admire about what Josh does is there's several other people in the internet space that do this as well. Is he is very good at he'll put these videos up. That are opinion based, but they're kind of melded together in a sense that, like, I don't know how much editing you have to do, Josh, but they're cut in.
Not
like
a lot.
You do a monologue, but you close some gaps, obviously, and they're funny as hell. So I this is why I thought this would be a good idea, because I listen to your show pretty regularly, and there's a bunch of sarcasm. Almost cussed right off the top of the show.
There's in the ditch already.
Yeah. There's a bunch of sarcasm, and like the people that were following us on Twitter while we were goofing off and promoting this thing tonight said some really funny things, and I've written some of those things down. We're going to cover them later, or as they start to make sense to cover. I think there's one we definitely wanted to pull up, because, I mean, obviously at some point we want to get into some science and you actually talking about Braves baseball and not us just goofing off, which I know. I mean, this could get tricky, but because we don't know squat. I mean, we have Braves fans who will have the Braves games on. I mean, 150 games a year. It'll be on the TV, but we're just doing something else.
I feel like 90, 95, no, 93 through 99 Braves. I'm as good as any other person out there.
Yeah,
and
me and Sherwin suck at that time frame.
Me and Sherwin have talked, and we sound like we know what we're talking about. And as soon as you hit the new millennium,
college was yeah.
So it's gone.
2000 to 2007 is a wasteland.
From 2002 to 05, there's a few years where I kind of lost the plot. I went off the reservation, man. Went to Oregon, maybe did some things I shouldn't have done that my mom wouldn't be proud about, and I didn't have TV. So like the other day, somebody tweeted at me, "Hey, do you remember when the Braves had so and so?" And honest to God, I'd never heard of this guy. I Googled this guy, and he clearly played for the Braves for like 2 or 3 years, and it was like from '02 to '04 or something. And that's why I was in Oregon, living in a yurt.
So living in a yurt,
doing things.
So did you fess up to it, or did you Wikipedia and like, oh yeah, I remember that guy. He had 3 home runs and 16 RBIs.
No.
That's
No, I quoted it. And I said, look, from 2002 to 2005, I kind of lost the plot, went to Oregon, and the only sport I was into was motorboating.
That's a good sport to be into.
I like that.
You and I were off the grid right about the same time. I spent 04, all of 04 and most of 05 on like a dude ranch in western Michigan with no internet and a flip phone.
Yeah. So we're 9 minutes in. Obviously, we're all drinking.
Yeah.
But the folks have already demanded, what are we drinking? So, Mr. Josh, what you drinking tonight?
Well, I'm going small batch beer tonight. It's probably a little bit above y'all's heads because you guys went to Georgia Tech. So I don't want to sound like a snob here, but I am drinking some Rolling Rock.
Rolling Rock, there it is.
Latrobe, Pennsylvania.
There it is.
Yeah,
number 33 because there are 33 words on the back of the label. I know all about Rolling Rock.
That corn brew, right?
Yeah, the corn heavy grain wort.
Wow, you know way too much about Rolling Rock.
You know what's funny?
Easy beer to chug, I tell you what.
I think I've only had maybe 3 Rolling Rock in my life, and that was when you brought a 6-pack over one time.
Oh, man.
I remember going, this is different, interesting.
So God rest his soul, but the first mini beer tree that Marcus and I made was with Rolling Rock.
Oh, nice.
We built a 3-foot high one.
Yeah.
In 110.
That's nice work.
In the cave in the old teak house at Georgia Tech.
So me and Sherwin are drinking. So here's the thing. I had said it over right after our Christmas show. And my parents got me for Christmas this rare beer club. And they send you 2 beers that like you can never get anywhere else and blah, 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 and all this stuff. So one of them this time is this. It's called Calicraft Reserve. Y'all look at this. It's a wine bottle. It's even got like the depression on the bottom.
This stuff is.
It's this like weird color. It's kind of like reddish, whatever. And it's there. It says on the back, it's a new type of beverage, neither beer nor wine. It's a sparkling ale. California's like it feels like I got to put my pinky out, but it's just kind of funny for us to be drinking.
Yeah, a little light in the loafers while we're drinking this one.
Yeah. But then at the end, they're like, break the rules. Calicraft Reserve is beer meets wine. I'm like, well.
And then you look at it, it's 10.5%. And you're like, well, this isn't exactly.
It's not a drinking
isn't
beer.
Child's play.
Yeah. This ain't.
And I've already blasted through it.
Yeah, I'm getting there
aware
myself.
that I have blasted through it.
So that's what we're drinking tonight. Plus, we previewed it on the last show.
All this other stuff.
Oh, there's all kinds of stuff. But Sherwin, you brought this over, this number 1.
Oh, yeah, we had Jefferson's
Tequila.
on. What was the Kentucky reference we had? We had somebody. Oh, Booney. God bless Booney West. He passed, so we got the Jeffersons.
Yeah.
We got the Ron White, number 1 tequila. And this is something that just caught my eye because Total Wine they're good at advertising. It's a Jameson that's been aged in an IPA cask. And we love IPAs because were we hopheads? Is that what we're supposed to call ourselves?
I don't know.
Or just
nerds.
craft nerds?
Just like beer.
I don't know.
Yeah, I like
we're
beer.
rednecks that like beer.
I like beer. I'll drink a
daggum
Miller Lite.
All right, the Braves tie-in here is the Terrapin Galaxy because Terrapin is the official craft beer of the Battery and the Atlanta Braves. So I just opened one of those because, I need another open beverage over here.
Like you need a hole in your head.
Right? But that's what I've got.
Yeah. So, Mr. Josh, let's start with you. Tell us about your podcast. What's going on? How you got started with that? You told us in the kind of pre-show here, and enjoyed that. So, keep going.
So I do the podcast with Ken Hendricks. Ken is a redneck farmer. Lives in Livonia, Georgia. He's a cattle farmer. Ken got a degree from Georgia. Sorry, tech guys.
Oh,
that's all right.
Well, that happens sometimes.
I think
you know what? They teach agriculture, so we don't.
Okay.
Roll Tide.
But Ken went to school for Roll Tide. Ken went to school for speech writing, and then I think he ended up becoming like a preacher, and then he ended up becoming a farmer. And so I say that to say I think he's like the most amazing combination of a podcaster, because he's got this like speech writing background, and he's like kind of a preacher. He's a farmer. He's just great at telling stories. So I do the podcast with him. He
Isn't
asked me
that
to do it back
by the way,
in-
isn't that a Randy Travis song?
Sounded like it.
Farmer and a preacher, hooker and a teacher.
He's got that classic. So where's he
So is
actually
he a
originally
hooker?
from? Because he's got, to me, what sounds like that classic Middle
Yeah.
East Georgia accent.
Oh, I thought you were going to stop at Middle East. I was like, really?
No,
Okay.
no. He doesn't. He's never raced a camel.
what kind of podcast is this, guys?
I'm
It's
sorry.
way down.
No, I think he's from there originally, like the Toccoa, Livonia area.
Okay, that
He's
okay
from
that fits.
there originally, yeah.
That fits. 85
whatever-
down to like the 75. They have
Yeah,
a
yeah,
distinct
yeah.
sort of sound.
He's country. He's very country.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do the podcast. We in the Braves podcast world, there are already a couple of podcasts already, but they were just podcasts. They would cover analytics and scouting reports and stuff. And I mean, they're great. I listen to them and everything, but they're not really a show. And so we wanted to make a show where we tell stories. We do funny segments. It's almost like I try to explain it to people. It's almost like if Cheech and Chong had a Braves podcast or something.
So you wanted to
it's
be the
totally
PTM
different.
podcast of Braves podcast. I'm
Yeah,
kidding. I'm
exactly.
not appropriating
Exactly.
your show, but no, that's exactly where we're at too.
Nice. Yeah, it's fun. It's more than just a podcast. We do all kinds of different segments. But we do a lot of stuff on Twitter, like videos and stuff. And I just started doing the videos for fun one day, and it kind of took off. So I enjoy doing that. And the essence of it is we know baseball, we love baseball, but we don't take it too seriously, because I think a lot of people do, and they take the fun out of it. And it's just baseball. It should be fun.
Man, I think you're Sherwin already said it, but the parallels between what you're talking about and how we got started, and how there's all these analytical shows, and I guess Marty and McGee was the only kind of fun NASCAR show, but they're still employed by ESPN, the mothership, and all that, and so they have certain rules to abide by. And we were even talking in the pre-show, like or even just now about sponsoring drivers and stuff. Well, we got to make sure we don't poop on somebody's other sponsor, but we poop on everybody.
Right.
So who knows? We probably have done it.
Yeah.
Well, I think
I like the parallel there.
Yeah, I think in learning to turn this show into both something fun for us, something fun for people to listen to, a little bit of comedy, letting our inner comedian out, even though we don't really aspire to be open micers or anything. But it took us, I want to say, probably 20 episodes to get to that point where it's
cool.
oh wait,
Yeah.
what we're supposed to be doing here is goofing off, and then also teaching people a thing or two.
Well, and there's also talking on the mic.
That's awesome.
What's funny is
Especially for your crowd.
you sit there and BS with your buddies, and what you don't realize when you're sitting there BSing with your buddies is that there might be 2 minutes in between you talking and nothing is said, and then you start talking again and everything else. So when you go up to the mic and you sit down and you start talking with each other, like, let's just talk like we always talk. And you do that, and suddenly there's like 30 seconds of silence, and you're both staring at each other going, what do we usually do right here? Well, usually we just sit here and drink beer, but I think people might not be excited about that. So
You have to just keep talking.
getting used
Right.
to talking on the mic has been interesting. And then in other areas of life, it is transcended, if you will.
Sure. It's fun.
Yeah, so before we go too far into the Braves, let's do a little bit of NASCAR here, a little bit of racing. So you've got the 88 shirt on.
Oh, Lord.
I'm digging that. Dale Earnhardt and the Atlanta Braves shirt, when you posted a picture, go ahead and I don't know, give us some color around that.
Well, I mean, it's well documented that Dale Earnhardt was a big Braves fan.
Yeah, Bill Elliott.
And
Do you know why?
So tell us. Why don't you tell us?
Well, I think from what I understood, him and Ned Yost were really tight. Like they were like super close friends.
That is
So I don't.
correct.
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah.
So Dale had occasion to, it was, around the time that Atlanta Motor Speedway was going to kick off their first race of the year, which used to be early March, which was spring training time of year. So I don't know if they had the Braves over to Daytona, or if the Richard Childress Racing went to the Braves, or how that worked out. But Ned Yost and Dale Earnhardt really hit it off. And at a time when most people in upstate North Carolina were Yankees fans because that's all that was on TV, except for the fact that Ted Turner had come along and put the Braves on everybody's TV across
Sure, and
the
tell the
entire
folks who
world.
Ned Yost is if they don't.
So Ned Yost was
been following the Braves.
Ned Yost was the first base, third base, and then bench coach for the Braves, and eventually got hired by the Milwaukee Brewers as a head coach. That didn't work out so good. He went to Kansas City and won a World Series as a manager. So that's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, yeah. That's something that Andrew Kansian just said. Kansian, you got me. It's been like 12 weeks since I messed that
months
up.
ago, I think.
But the Ned Yost wears number 3 because of Dale Earnhardt. That's pretty cool.
Yep. I mean, those two dudes were tight as hell.
Well, as much as you know, it's funny, as a Braves fan and as a NASCAR fan, and never putting those two together, never knowing that, I always knew Ned Yost as the guy who's standing next to first base with number 3 on, and I would have never connected that, which is so, and that's just really cool to have that tie-in.
So I don't know if this was Josh or if this was Ken, but there's a post just went into the YouTube about Dale Murphy also wearing number 3. I think that happens to be coincidental, but it is still cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that who would have predated who there?
Well, Dale Murphy hit the scenes. Oh man, they came up same time.
That's what I'm saying. Who would
79?
Yeah,
79's right when both would have hit the mainstream.
There's some good trivia. I like that. And so let's go a little bit deeper into the NASCAR part, and then we'll get right back to not talking about what this podcast is all about. But car number 31, it's episode number 131, car number 31. I got to get this one out of the way. Of course, Jeff Burton, 324 races, 4 wins. Newman. I didn't realize Newman only had 1 win in the 31.
2. He's got 1 at Vegas and 1 at Phoenix.
According to this, according to what I read, he's only got 1 in the 31.
Oh, so he
might
the
have
Vegas
been
one must have been in the 39 for Stuart Haas.
Yeah. So
okay. Yep.
Yeah. Robbie Gordon.
Check and adjust.
Robbie Gordon, 3 wins in 118 races.
Yeah,
Mike
road course and 1 at
Skinner.
Loudon maybe. And...
who was it we were just talking to that had some good Robbie Gordon stories? Me and you were talking to. We don't have to say it on the podcast if you don't remember. But.
Well, I'll tell you what. The good Robbie Gordon stories out there are by the driving or dinner with racers guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Holy cow!
Yeah,
he's hilarious.
Yeah.
I got more on that later. Remind me.
And I met Robbie Gordon's business partner in the. That's who it was. I was just thinking about. I met his business partner in the Atlanta airport, and I sit down and all I'm doing, I'm sitting there watching the race. And I kind of, and it was like the nationwide, it was Xfinity race, and I'm just sitting there and I'm watching it, and I kind of react to something. And he's like, "Oh, you a big race fan?" Yeah, I'm a big race fan. How about yourself? And I didn't realize this is Robbie Gordon's business partner, right? And he's like, "Yeah, I do. I like some racing." Like, but that's what that's how you test the waters with each other, I guess,
right?
And then I go on to be like. I'm like, I'm huge in racing. I host this podcast that's all about. He's like, oh, that's cute.
Right.
That's not how it went
There's
down.
like
but
78 people that listen. It's awesome.
Yeah, right. So, it was fun. But anyway, yeah, Robbie Gordon, Mike Skinner, 156 races, no wins. But we're going to talk about Jim, and I don't know if it's Vandiver or if it's Vandiver.
Oh, you got to figure it's Vandiver.
I know,
that
right?
That would be the southern way to say it.
Or Vandiver. I don't know which
Vandiver.
one.
Vandiver, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's go with
59 races, no wins. Born in 1939, 85 races in the number 31 from the 60s through the 80s. So he didn't really.
Kind of just farted around.
Yeah,
for
he just kind of farted around
decades.
for nearly 3 decades. No wins, 24 top 10s though. When he retired, he ran a used truck dealership. Listen to this though. You know this story. I did not know this was Jim Vandiver. But you remember the 1969? You don't remember, but the 1969.
Have you heard of
Talladega 500? He got second place to Richard Brickhouse. Now this was the race.
Oh, the tire boycott.
No. Was that 69? I don't think it was, but this was the one where he was like, No, that dude was a lap down. Like, Brickhouse was a lap down. You're full of crap.
The scoring was
jacked. And because the dude had pitted, and Vandiver did not pit. And then he came back around, and dude's in front of him. But
I think that's all the same race. I think that's the reason why they had so much trouble with scoring is because all of the main cars went home, and like the 50-car field, like 49 of them were like substitutes, basically.
Yeah. We'll have to look up see if that was the same race. Because the boycott race and all that with the tires, and so Brickhouse was still made the winner of that event. But the second place of that legendary story was Jim Vandiver.
Interesting.
So the second story with him, and there's
another one.
I got to almost read this one. I'll put my own color to it. But right off of Wikipedia, it was hilarious. 1973 Southern 500 in Darlington. Vandiver was supposed to get arrested for not showing up to divorce court for a child custody hearing. I mean, this is a stand-up fella, I guess. He had to figure out a way to not go to jail right after the race. Like, he didn't want the cops to just show up and arrest him, as he's leaving pit lane. This is the Southern 500 at Darlington, right? So what he ends up doing is conspiring with somebody on the track to wreck him so that he could
go to the infield care center.
No, there wasn't no such thing back then. Yeah, nothing like that back then. So after he did that and brought his car back to the hauler, hitchhiked back to his own home in Monroe, North Carolina, from Darlington, South Carolina. He sat down, had a cold beer, and waited on the cops to show up and arrest him. That is badass old school cool.
That is very funny. And I just saw something hilarious in the YouTube feed that must be mentioned. Clearly, Babe Ruth wore number 3 because of Dale Earnhardt. Clearly. That's for sure. That's 100% fact.
Yeah. And in the third inning, everybody held up 3 fingers.
That's right. In 1927.
That's right. So Jim Vandiver, he passed away in 2015. We'll do hats off and we'll do drinks up. Yeah. Mr. Jim Vandiver, skirting the cops. No, we're good. Skirting the cops and I don't know, doing his thing. And
it looked like a Bloody Mary, but it drank very differently. All right.
Anyway, all right. Well, continuing.
I mean, we have not even remotely gone back on the road yet. But
nope,
that's fine.
Nope. It's going to be like this tonight, y'all. I appreciate y'all being here, hanging out, and having fun. I hope y'all got a drink too, or
I'm enjoying chatting with your listeners.
Substance of choice. I'm glad.
They're fun. They interact. They bring the mustard.
Like. You know what I like? I really like this question from Mick Rose. So the PATM Posse has sent us some questions, and we'll just jump into a few of them.
Yeah.
And
so that one,
did
you see the one I told
from
you
Andrew? Yeah. We'll go with that next.
Because we're gonna poop on
somebody.
We'll see how it goes.
At GoDucks42_Mick, I really liked this kind of crossover factoid, this trivia here.
Yep.
The most consecutively won World Series and Cup championships is 5. So 5 in a row for both World Series and for Cup championships. Will we ever see that happen again? What I want to say is, if we see that happen again, who's going to do it first? Josh, where you at?
5 in a row?
5 in a row.
Lord.
Yankees versus Jimmy Johnson.
I mean, the Yankees or the Dodgers? I don't know. If it's ever going to happen again, I'm just going to say the Yankees. I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry.
No, I think it's far less likely in racing. There's just so many more variables.
So in racing, they would have to change the format again.
Again. That's a good point.
Because the playoffs in racing, I mean, we talked about it.
There's too much chance.
Yeah, there's too much chance, especially down to the wire, especially you have one race where you're knocked out by somebody. And in the current format, we're not going to see 5 in a row for sure. And that's just because of a whole different thing. What I think is unique about baseball, though, is that it's the same format it's been for 100 years. And so playing under those same rules, I think baseball, I would say, has a better chance of having somebody who
can stay good for like 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I would disagree a little bit.
Okay.
Well, you're not. I mean, you're not going to hurt our feelings to disagree. That's what we're here to do is disagree.
Well, Well, the thing about the format hasn't been the same. So pre-1966, the postseason was the World Series.
Right.
So it was the best team in you already know this. Best team in the AL plays the best team in the NL. So yeah, it's just I think there's a lot of different factors now. Maybe that makes it harder. I guess it makes it harder to do 5 in a row now because there's just so many. There's 2 wild cards. There's all this stuff. So it would just be harder, I think, to do.
Well, I think so for sure. If for whatever reason, however your team is trending, you end up backdooring your way into that 1-game playoff, but you have the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah,
you can win that game, and then maybe that catapults you to World Series. You just don't see that scenario playing out 5 years in a row. I mean, no, I don't think anybody ever thought that Jimmy Johnson could have won 5 straight championships, especially since they were all in a playoff-type atmosphere.
Well, and they changed the rules 3 times. I believe he won under, was it 3 different rule systems?
He won when there was only 10 drivers. He won when there was only 12 drivers, and he's won when there was knockout rounds.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that, jeez.
Like, what in the hell?
And if it were points, he'd have won on points, too, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there was one in there Gordon would have won.
Yeah.
If they just straight points. But we've talked about this over and over and over, and I think the same thing applies to baseball, Josh, in that you play what the rule book suggests you ought to play. So that whole, let's figure out how many points they would have scored if we did the old system. Well, that's stupid. Because that's like saying, I only have 1 game to win, so I'm going to pitch Medlin instead of, or however we do it. You have the opportunity to pitch Scherzer, but you choose to pitch Strasburg, but you're playing the Braves, and you know the Braves always kill Strasburg.
I love that, by the way.
So, I mean, there are variables at play that you can change based on what the rules are. Like, if it's, this is only 1 game, well, then I got to pitch my guy that's the best guy against that team as long as he's didn't pitch yesterday.
Who do you think in NASCAR could do that? Who do you think has the potential to win 5 in a row under this current format?
Jimmy is the only one that's proven that.
Really?
Jimmy and
under
Chad.
like this format, though?
Yeah, I don't think there's. I mean, we saw a downtrend in wins last year and a downtrend in performance, but it's pretty obvious across the board. It's not Chad and Jimmy that started sucking. It's that Chevrolet was off.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking, obviously it's recent news, but I mean, Truex certainly, if he can continue to win like he's doing, that's a possibility. I think this bodes well for the Kyle Busch type of thing, where it's just win or don't win. And the way that they value wins, he's got something to say about Kyle Busch. And by the way, Chase Elliott. I think this format
he was there.
Could be a Chase Elliott thing. Yeah, absolutely.
He was present and accounted for, despite not winning a race.
Yep.
Is Chase Elliott everything? I think he's everything.
He's all of the things except for having won yet.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's important. But other than that, he's got it.
He's so chill.
Yeah.
He doesn't even, and he's already, I mean, he's got it all figured out. I mean, when you get out of your car at Martinsville after getting turned by the guy who basically lived in Martinsville, that's his home track, and you wave your hands and they boo the guy, like, you're winning. You're whether you won the race or not, win.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Josh, I'll let it be known, we have basically never said anything nice about Denny Hamlin on this podcast. and that's probably why we don't have very many Denny Hamlin fans who listen to this podcast. And God bless him. He's a great race car driver. We just don't like him. And that's how it's going to be when you do a fan podcast. You know, you either like Nick Markakis or you don't. You either like hits or you don't.
The Greek, man.
I mean, sometimes it brings some derision into the equation.
Let's bring up the next question, which I think this one's right up Josh's alley here. So Andrew Kansian at KHANTZIAN, after seeing the Yankees having so much success.
Oh, this is a shot, by the way. You got to keep this in mind. This is a shot at Braves fans.
Oh, well, no, I get it. I get it.
No, I changed the wording of his question to be less of a shot.
Oh, wow. After seeing the, what did he put before Yankees? Like 5-time in a row Yankees having some, I don't know. No, after seeing the Yankees having so much success with a strong farm system.
Well, they haven't done jack diddly doo-doo since like 2004, right. So there's that.
Where do the Braves see their future in terms of building from within? So let's talk Braves. Let's do it, Josh. You're up.
I'm ready.
So they got Aaron Judge. That's about it.
Yeah, Aaron Judge. Come on. What is he going to hit? Like 230, and he might hit some homers. Whatever.
He's going to strike out his batting average.
I agree. I agree. What was the question? Where are the Braves as far as rebuilding?
To me, what was funny about it, and I'm knocking all kinds of Rusty's wife's crap over, but no, it's like, Braves have like arguably top 3, top 1, depending on who you talk to, farm system. So the question is, like, where are the Braves at in terms of developing from within?
When can we expect the Braves to get some
dadgum
wins?
I'm going to say, like, next Thursday. I'm just kidding. No, 2 to 3 years out, really. I mean, they clearly have the number one farm system according to multiple different websites. And I think a lot of Braves fans. Now, here's the thing: a lot of analytical Braves nerds get mad and frustrated and make fun of the Braves fan who kind of keeps up with it a little bit and who's frustrated because the Braves suck and they're wondering where the good product on the field is. I get that. I'm kind of in the middle. I can emphasize with those people that they got pissed because the Braves traded Gaddis and Hayward and their favorite players and Kimbrel. I get all that because I think it's important to retain players because you as a fan you love these guys and your favorite player is so and so and you buy their jersey and then it's like rent a team, and then they're traded. You know what I mean? So I get that, but I also think that they really do have the best farm system in baseball, and not only do they have the best farm system, but it's built around pitching. I mean, some of their pitching coming up in the minors right now, Mike Soroka and Colby Allard and even Kyle Wright, and Luis Gohara, Max Fried. They don't have a ton of bats. They could probably have bats, but pitching is like the toughest thing to get, to grow, to buy. And so when you have a farm system built on pitching, it's a lot stronger, in my opinion, than if you had a farm system with a bunch of bats, and it's harder to get. And so, I don't think they're going to be great this year. I've read a couple of really good articles from non-Braves writers, like national guys, who say that this year the Braves could surprise some folks and be, kind of a wild card team. I don't know. They're not going to suck as bad as they did last year. It would be almost impossible. But I would really give them 2 to 3 years. And I think a lot of fans are frustrated and tired of rebuilding. And I get it. Like a lot of my friends that are on our podcast with us and write and that are super smart, analytical guys, they scoff at the people that are just frustrated. Well, I get it. You're a fan. You don't want to suck forever. And the Braves, they suck. and when you look at it, they've not been good. The last postseason series the Braves won, I think it was like 2000 or 2001. Wow. And that sounds crazy to say, but it's true. The last guy to win a postseason game for the Braves was, I think, 2009 Mike Minor, I think.
Mike Minor.
So it's been – I think as Braves fans, I'll throw a little bit of shade to Georgia fans because you guys are Tech fans, but Georgia fans, every year they think they're awesome, but they're not, with the exception of this past year, right? But if you talk to
they were good
Dogs
this year.
fan,
what can I say?
In any year since '81, they're awesome, and Braves fans are kind of like that. We're used to, I guess from the '90s, we're just used to being really, really good, but they're not. They suck.
Well, I'll draw a parallel here. So
I think they're going to be better.
The Hawks suck too.
Well, so for me, it's like just with the reach that the Braves have. Braves, we've talked about it before, are one of the superstation teams. You know, there's two of them, right? There's the Braves, there's the Cubs.
Yep.
And so you find all these fans in Birmingham, in Cincinnati, even and all along the Southeast,
Alabama,
all of Florida,
Tennessee, South Carolina, all made sense. It's the ones in Montana, and Utah,
exactly. And so you have these fans, and therefore, in a way, you have these eyeballs, you have this money coming from everywhere else, and you almost expect that, hey, just get us to the playoffs, man. Let's get to the playoffs somehow as a wild card or as a number one team, whatever it is. Get to the playoffs. We should do that. We've said this, Sherwin. I'll draw a parallel to Georgia Tech basketball in that, look, we're an ACC team, which is supposed to be a powerhouse in basketball. We're in Atlanta, which is one of the biggest recruiting areas in, I would say, the eastern half of the country.
For basketball players.
For basketball players. And we just get us to the dance at least. You know, we should be making NCAA every year. Like, even when Duke sucks, they're going to make the NCAA, you know? So it feels like even when the Braves suck, we should be like a wild card or one-game play-in or something, you know?
I agree. I don't have anything else to add.
So there you go. I guess we can continue on with it. Here, we'll take a little detour here instead of baseball question. NASCAR nerd @_NASCAR nerd says, what's the worst thing that you've seen on the internet that still made you laugh out loud?
Man, I thought about this all day.
Oh, I know my exact answer, and y'all aren't going to like it.
Yeah, so I know what mine is.
I know what mine is.
And I've sent a GIF out recently, so this may not shock anybody that's paying attention to the old tweeter, but I think the worst thing I've ever seen on the internet that caused me to, like, ribs hurt, like abs hurting, like painful laughter was Shovel Girl.
Oh, God.
And if you haven't seen this, just Google it or whatever.
Right. No, it's not like it's like not safe for work or anything.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, everybody's clothed.
Yeah, everybody's clothed. There's no fluids or nothing. It's hilarious.
Like there's a whole
two white trash girls in a fight and a shovel.
White trash girls talking smack to each other, and one of them grabs a shovel, and the other's like, "What are you going to do with that?" And then, like, she takes off running, and she gets smoked in the back of the head with a shovel.
That's fantastic.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Yeah, you got to see this, dude. It's hilarious.
It's the funniest
thing. There's noise. It is the perfect sound. It is exactly what you would expect a shovel to sound like if it hits the back of a human head.
So if you're with me, or if you're hanging out with me in person, you probably think Rusty's a pretty quiet guy. If you're listening on the radio show, you probably think Rusty's a freaking talker and blah blah blah, talk your ears off kind of thing. But in person, I'm kind of more of the, I won't say shy, but I just sort of listen a lot, and I'll throw my little words in here and there. And if you put me in a big crowd, you're not even going to notice me. I'm not like the life of the party kind of guy. And maybe that's why I enjoy doing this thing, because I get to do this. But it's those quiet ones you got to worry about, right? So, like,
yeah.
Well, I've seen a Carlin bit about that.
I've seen some effed up stuff on the internet and laughed my butt off because I'm a sick person, I guess. So
I think I knew you were going with this. I still think
I had heard about this. I had read about it. I had heard people talk about it.
I think you showed me this.
When there was a video about two girls and a thing that they did with a drinking device. One cup.
I knew this was what you were going to say.
I laughed my butt off. I was laughing so hard
until I understood what was actually happening.
I thought it was the funniest thing I had seen in my life. I was laughing so hard I had to pause it
on your
and
desktop.
I'm like, Sherwin, you got to see this. And he's like, dude, no, that's messed up. I'm like, no, keep watching. He's like, this is more messed up. What are you doing?
I was mortified.
Oh, man.
I didn't understand what was at play. And, my God. That was that was 2006.
Something like that. Yeah. I'm messed up in the head, y'all. I get it.
And we saw, the things that we saw in 2001 and 2002.
Oh, back on like College Humor.
We can't describe, it's just not.
Consumption Junction and that stuff, yeah.
Remember E-Bombs World?
E-Bombs World,
yes.
All that stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
They don't know about E-Bomb's World.
None of our listeners want to know about that place if they hadn't already been there. I promise.
So I don't
somebody
know what it is.
somebody posted something in the Twitter and the YouTube feed here about somebody effing a goat. What?
Oh Lord, have mercy!
I'm like, take it
no,
easy,
I'm not
man.
sure. I'm not sure I'd be there.
Let's ease off on that.
I'm not sure I'd probably be.
That's like a felony.
Here's the thing: you feel bad for the goat. Like there's neither one of those two girls were. They seem to have fun.
Well, when you think about a goat, everything you know about a goat, like
I mean, the goat's
a
not
human
a party to this.
Maybe
they're
considerably
digging it.
larger than a goat.
Maybe they're digging it. I don't know. All right,
All
Josh.
right. Well,
worst thing.
We didn't just find the ditch. We bounced
The
off
worst
the guardrail, rocked over it, and hit a telephone pole.
If I had a while to think about this, I could probably come up with a better answer because I'm sure there's some terrible things I've seen throughout the years. But as of late, and I think I was late to the party. I think I saw this recently, and my wife was like, I saw this like 2 years ago. But it wasn't sick. It was more scary and sad, and it was traumatizing for me. But it was.
Well, that's not funny.
Have y'all seen Planet Life 2?
No.
Or is it called The Planet Life?
Planet Earth?
Planet Earth.
Planet
Earth 2.
Okay.
On Netflix.
Well, hold
There's
on.
a
We got an
scene
audience over there.
Planet Earth 2, there's a scene where these baby iguanas, they hatch their eggs on the beach of this island, and they literally get out of their eggs and they come up out of the sand, and hundreds of snakes basically try to kill them before they
I've
make
seen
it from
that. I have seen
when
that.
they're born.
It is ridiculous.
Have y'all seen that? It's crazy.
The snake can
It's crazy.
run
It's the scariest
faster
thing I've
than
ever
a
seen.
damn cheetah at that wherever that place is.
Good Lord.
It's retarded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not supposed to say that word.
It can run, but it ain't got legs. That's a devil.
Yeah, it's the devil. Bill Engvall.
Yeah.
God rest his. No, he's still alive.
It's very alive. Oh, so that one kind
Here's
of
your
like
time.
made you giggle out of
Well,
you're
there
like,
was
well,
a-
I shouldn't be laughing at this,
Well,
but I
remember
am.
the one it hit the list. Like, so we used to have the college list, right, where all the guys emailed the list and we post the most terrible crap that you could possibly post. And it was like I mean, just an over dramatic like movie trailer kind of slow mo some and then fast some of like this lizard like escaping the snakes, and it was like, what in the hell is happening here? Like there's 18 billion snakes,
Oh, Lord.
and there's one lizard, and like there are so many things that happen along the way, like people tripping and bouncing off rocks and stuff, and somehow he gets away, and it's like it was like the survival rate of that lizard was probably less than an infantry soldier at Normandy, like the percentage.
Is that okay to joke about? Are we like
Well, it was 70 years ago. Hats off to the greatest generation.
there it is.
but, I mean, that's still-
we're just talking numbers, statistics. Let's get out of the ditch. Unlikely. Sherwin, why don't you read this one from Doc Herbert? You've got it. At Braves
All right.
Herbert.
So this is one of the ones that really made me laugh.
Oh,
yeah,
Lord.
yeah, I like this.
Oh, well, no, this one. Oh, no, this is not the funny one. This is just I'm sure this is going to get Josh fired up one.
Yep.
Why is Ronald Acuna ranked ahead of Tyler Neslony in the prospect rankings?
I have no idea. It makes no sense to me. Why? I have no idea.
So I looked at
that was Doc's making fun.
Yeah, I looked at
Doc's
the
making
stats.
fun of me because so everybody's got their dark horse, okay, and mine might be Tyler Neslony. It's a common theme of my life with sports. I can't explain it, man. When I was a kid, John Stockton hung the moon, and I love Jeff Blauser.
Oh my gosh.
And
Gotta
then Matt
love
Diaz
Blauser.
is like my favorite Brave ever. So it's a theme. It's a theme. I like the underdogs. But yeah, Tyler Neslony is going to shock the world. And when he does, me and Tyler will be laughing while Doc Herbert will be tweeting from his mama's basement.
Well, MLB.com didn't even have a position for this guy that I could find.
That's because he's
so
he
good.
transcends positions.
He's a 9-tool player.
Lord.
Yeah.
He could pitch, catch.
Right.
So he's
all
that
the other
first
stuff.
baseman that you bring in like
Right.
the 12th inning to pitch.
Yes, that's the guy that. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I love it.
He can do anything.
That's funny to me. That's like if we could make a NASCAR analogy, this is like, why is Allmendinger rated below Joey Logano? It's like, well, hey, man.
He's wide but not deep. Is that like,
It's
there's a
like-
lot of disciplines but not.
He's older and not nearly as good. Is that what?
Sherwin, take the next question too from Freddie.
Yeah, I was like, we got one from Freddie's Gatto. At Freddie's Gatto, there's no punctuation in there. This was the one that really I busted a gut because having listened to your show and understand the sarcasm involved. Do the Braves need more power in their outfield? And by power, I mean when the outfielders take their turn at the plate, they hit the ball over the fence, whereby resulting in runs. In 2018, as in 2017, and I added in all previous seasons,
As it turns out.
the team with the most runs wins the game.
Is this not like? Is this John Madden asking this question?
Pretty sure.
The team with the
no,
more
this
runs
is like
is going to win.
Caparillo being, or no, Caliendo being John Madden,
yeah.
creating a baseball question.
Oh, there it is. Power from the outfield. Where are you
Yes.
Are you
The
aware that
Braves
if you
do
hit the
need
ball
power,
over the fence, it results in a run?
at? Or more.
At least one.
So to kind of explain that question, to put it in perspective for your listeners, I don't know if there's fans like this in NASCAR, but in baseball there are these there's like saber nerds, and then there's like another league like above saber nerds, like analytical, freaking.
Crap.
I don't even know what they are.
I'm a
like
saber
robots
nerd,
who
so
like just
I
look
feel
at
bad.
spreadsheets.
Is it okay to be a saber nerd?
Yeah, and they come up with like, yeah, I mean it's totally cool. Like I'm a saber nerd,
Okay,
and
all right.
I love advanced metrics, but there's people that just like
They go.
they live and die by these advanced stats like weighted runs created plus that takes into account park factors and just all this
whether or not
stuff.
Venus is in phase or out of phase, and the moon is
summer
within
or spring solstice.
Yeah, and they scoff at. It's weird. Like I think baseball has some. I think it's because numbers coupled with history, baseball has attracted a certain type of person. Like these really smart analytical people, which is really cool. But at the end of the day, baseball's not that hard, and we kind of poke fun at that.
Hit ball, run fast.
And
hit ball run
yeah,
fast.
I mean you're hitting the baseball where guys aren't at, and
Where guys aren't.
yeah, and the team with the most runs wins the game, and so we kind of poke fun at that a little bit. That explains that question.
That was so John Madden. I love it. I love it to death. So at the end of the day, the team that scores the most points is going to win the football game. All right, I appreciate you telling me
Yeah.
that. We didn't know how this worked.
Brought
I mean-
bringing a lot to the table.
I'm not dumbing it down to where it's but it's really not that difficult. It's baseball, you know. There's all these advanced stats with pitchers now, you know. It's like we've had very formidable stats for 100 years, you know, strikeouts, ERA. Like you're not a good pitcher doesn't give up a lot of runs. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So I know you being a Braves fan and a Braves podcaster and a Sabermetrics fan and whatever, like you're obviously dialed into the data. I saw like the greatest Greg Maddux stat that's like ever been told. I could have gone and looked it up and quoted it exactly.
He pissed in 47 people's shoes.
He pissed in everybody's shoes. He put his penis on Chipper Jones.
Oh, God.
Or peed on his leg or whatever he did. He did some weird
Those are
stuff.
two different things. Anyway.
Yeah, those are
He
different
did
things,
that
right?
in the shower. I heard.
But it was like Greg Maddux faced 30,000 batters in his career, and only 177 went to a 3-ball count, and like 90 of those were intentional walks.
Wow. Jesus.
Like it's ridiculous
It's
what that
insane.
stat is.
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah.
That's one of those numbers that can't be true.
Yeah, he
Whatever.
was
Yeah.
unreal.
He just did not get to
Yeah.
3-ball counts.
We got
Yeah.
spoiled.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no.
we did get
We got
spoiled.
watching this guy.
Arguably the greatest free agent acquisition in the history of baseball.
So,
Yeah.
last question from the PETM posse. Alex, whoa, goodness.
Oh, this
Anthopoulos'
is our new GM, Alex
bud.
Anthopoulos.
Oh, Anthopoulos is drinking bud at Dan Keats. So this one hits close to home for me, quite literally. Hey, Josh, do you remember that time I left you on the side of Buford Highway? So obviously somebody you know who left you on the side of Buford Highway. Here's the funny part. If I
You're
were
less than a half-mile walk from Buford Highway.
I was going to say, if I were to take off running right now as my fat self, as fast as I could, I will reach Buford Highway itself within 1.5 minutes. No doubt.
Yeah.
In 90 seconds, I'll reach it.
And
So
if
that's
if
where
you
we
run
are.
for 3 more minutes, you'll be at the Pink Pony.
True. Well, I can't run all the way there. That's there's some hills and stuff. I
There
can't do
is
that.
some terrain.
I will barf on the way to Pink Pony, but that's the thing. So we got to hear that story, Josh. Go for it.
Well, here's the story. Dan Keats operates under anonymity on the interwebs. He says he's my dad, and I halfway believe him. Like, he might actually be my dad. My dad's name is not Dan Keats, but the way this Dan Keats tweets and the things he says are things that my dad would say and tweet, and it freaks me out. And so people ask me, is Dan Keats your dad? And I don't know.
That's very funny.
I love it. So your dad left you on the
I
side
He
have
of
no
knows
idea.
things only your dad should know.
You know, it's weird. It's he popped up on Twitter, like, back in the summertime, and I was like one of the first people he followed. And then just the way he talks, he says Bubba a lot, and it's weird. So I don't know. I don't know if he's my dad or not. I asked my dad, who's my actual dad, "Hey, are you Dan Keats?" And he's like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." So,
which is
I
exactly
think it's
what
Ken
Dad
Hendricks' alter ego.
Ooh, that could be.
I thought for a while we thought it was John Coppola, because he knew a little bit too much about some under the radar prospects that, like, nobody would know about. But
funny.
we verified that that's not John Coppola. However, we think he might actually know John Coppola. So it's weird.
Interesting.
Okay.
John
Sorry to muddy the
Coppola
waters,
is
yeah.
the fired ex-GM of the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah.
Banned from baseball, as it were.
Well, yeah. That was this year or something, wasn't it?
That was November.
Yeah. Well, okay, not 2018, obviously, but yes, very, very recent stuff. Sherwin, you've got The Strange Was Staying for us.
Did we
Josh,
decide which one we were going to read?
I don't know. Read. There was one that, like, we had an answer to, and there was one that was really good, but we didn't really have a good answer to.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're both really good.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to read the one that maybe we can, like, fishhook our way into a real story. One of them doesn't fit as well as the others.
So, Josh, every week we have Ashley J. Stang. She sends us an off-the-wall question, as if we haven't been off the wall this entire time this week. But
Right.
Oh, this is where it really goes off the rails.
yeah, if the rails haven't been, I don't know, exited, get off of the next stop. Here we go.
All right, so here we go. All right, make sure I...
Yeah, he's got to pull it up on the text.
Well,
This
I've got
is
it, but I got to make sure I censor it.
yeah,
Because there's
that's right.
nothing
That's
Ashley
right.
sends
I
me
remember,
that is not
she-
riddled with words that have U's in them.
Right. And I, T's, and S's. And
Okay, so have you ever broken something at someone's house or clogged a toilet or F-bombed something up and not told them what happened? And did they find out later, and did you blame it on someone else? I feel like there's going to be people that listen to this show tonight that are going to be not friends with each other anymore.
as they're thinking about this stuff. Yeah. Sherwin, I mean, I gave me and Sherwin were thinking about this stuff, and I'm like, all right, whose house would I have been at and I messed something up? I was like, I'd have been at Sherwin's house, and I'd have messed something up bad. But I would have probably told him and been like, dude, I messed this up. We have a situation now. We got to deal with it. And
Yeah, I
we've
wonder-
probably been there before, but the only thing I can think of, so back in our fraternity days, if you remember,
Okay.
it wasn't me, it was some fraternity brother. They were building the house next door to us, and one of the fraternity brothers opened up a fire hydrant
Oh, my God.
You remember this?
I remember this.
Opened up the fire hydrant and completely flooded the other house that was still being built.
Brand new.
Brand new house was still being built and completely flooded. Like, I'm talking about 6 feet of water.
6 inches deep.
Yeah, 6 inches. I
In
said
the
6
basement.
feet. I meant 6 inches. In the basement. Like, this thing messed up everything. And it was another buddy of ours from the fraternity house who, so this, like, we showed up, we were at the bar or something, we came back later, and this thing was 6 inches deep of water. And our other fraternity brother had a torque wrench that could, shut off a fire hydrant. So he shut it off, and we called the cops and everything, and the cops came by, and we were the heroes, because here was this leaky fire hydrant that they
don't not have a lot of pressure behind them.
Right, and the guys next door turned it off and saved their house, right? What they didn't know is that the same guys were the ones that flooded it in the first place. So that's one of my, I guess that's the best one that I can come up with. All the rest of them, I feel like I've fessed up to. Like, you go to somebody's house and you break something and you're just like, you know what? That's how it is. I've probably clogged somebody's toilet, but,
I'm
there's some
confident
standard
every
issue stuff.
time that I've made a mistake in your house that I've just owned it.
Mm-hmm.
And this, sorry, man, I'm stupid.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Charlie Daniels in the torque.
He was a Charlie
It was
Daniels
not a
torque
Sawyer
wrench.
Brown song for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that wasn't Sawyer. Who was that?
Yeah, the Charlie Daniels of the torque wrench. That's
No.
Sammy Kershaw.
Make me the queen of my
Yeah, it's Queen of
double wide
Wide
trailer.
No,
and
no.
Double wide
polyester
trailer.
curtains and a redwood deck.
There's,
that's it.
Sammy. Oh, sorry,
Sammy
not
Kershaw.
Sawyer Brown. Sammy Kershaw.
Yeah, okay. That's where I'm at. Yeah, okay. I was
Same
sorry.
era.
I wasn't trying to
No,
call you out. I was
you're
like,
good.
wait a second.
You're good.
All right, we're good. Here we go. All right, Josh, where you at, Josh?
Do you have any closing
Right here.
statements?
No. I mean, I talked to us
Oh,
about,
he's got to tell us his thing.
Yeah, where'd you F up something?
I got drunk one night back in college in my buddy's trailer.
That's
My
awesome.
buddy Brian
How it
Simon,
starts.
we used to go to his trailer and play bluegrass all weekend. And Brian went on a mission trip to Russia, and he comes back and he's like, "Hey guys, I figured out this way to drink all the vodka without getting a hangover. You can drink like all night and not get sick at all." And it's this thing, and he showed it to us. It's like you take a shot and you breathe in and breathe out or something. You take another shot and then you sniff a pickle, and then you breathe in and breathe out, and then you like
Sniff
eat the
a
pickle.
pickle.
And if you do it in these certain steps or something, like you can just drink vodka like all night and you're fine. And so, of course, we believe him. 'Cause we're idiots. And so we drank vodka that night, and I got just obliterated. And
Right.
at some point, I puked. I remember laying on like a blow-up mattress, and I remember like just kind of like turning over, puking, like projectile vomit, dude. And the vomit landed in his vinyls, like he had some like old vinyls.
Oh,
and
man.
they were like nice. They were like classic
Oh,
rock
man.
stuff.
Yeah, like some
I think
Pink
I think
Floyd
I
and
puked
some-
on the White Album.
Oh,
the Beatles.
shoot. You get me
Rusty almost said it.
Big Brothers
you get
in
me
there.
excited about music, I might cuss.
Yeah,
Oh, crap.
dude.
Okay.
I just like I ruined his vinyl collection, and so I mean I didn't tell him immediately, but I had to tell him like the next day and everything, and he wasn't very happy.
I can't
We're
imagine.
still friends though.
Well, that's good. All right. Friendship.
That's so. You said that now that you there was some Russian and vodka things that happened. So now I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to tell a story. So we're gonna extend the show here, and Rusty's gonna yell at me, but that's fine.
Whatever.
So around the time that you said that you may have done a sabbatical off and wherever the hell you did your sabbatical, I did my sabbatical in Western Michigan.
Yeah.
At a dude ranch called the Double J in Western
Double J.
Michigan, just
Double
north of Muskegon.
awesome.
And I
That's
met
awesome.
some Russians my first summer there, and they said, "We're going to have Russian party." And I had just come back from the bar, and I was holding a pitcher that I had like poured Natty Light in out of cans. Like I filled it, and I was just drinking out of the pitcher. I'd already had a beer. I was well on my way to being satisfied as a drunk 3-year-old. And I was going to go to bed. And they're like, "No, you got to come upstairs to the Russian party." And this is the old school kind of house where, like, ranch house where the bottom, it was a 2-family house. So, like, the bottom, like, the stairs were outside.
Oh, okay.
But this was the summer, though, so
Yeah.
that didn't really matter that much. The stairs do come into play here in just a minute. So when I go upstairs, there's 3 Russian girls and there's 1 Russian dude, and they're like, all right, so we're going to have this Russian party. We're going to have Russian party. And I'm like, whatever this means, I don't know. I'm still holding my picture of Natty. And they hand me a cup, and they fill it with vodka. And I mean, when I say cup, I mean like, one of those double-layer plastic deals that, like, it's like a koozie built into the cup or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, it could hold a full beer.
Yeah.
Sure.
They filled it up with vodka.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, cool. We're going to puff past this thing, right? And, like, I drink a sip, and I go to hand it to the next person, like, no, that's yours.
Yeah, I already drank mine. Where are you at?
And I'm like, what? I'm like, I've been drinking beer for 6 hours. I can't drink a glass of vodka. And they're like, yeah, you can. You'll be fine. And so they were right about that I could. They were wrong that I would be fine. And I have never, that's the only time in my life I have ridden a staircase on my back head first.
Oh, fantastic.
Which was not a dare. It was, I fell, and that's how it just happened.
Oh, fantastic. Well, with that bombshell, we have completely
God.
we started off the rails. We continued. I think we just sort of rode that rail the whole time. So
You know what? We never hit a hydrant. We're good.
that's right. Yeah. Never
We must
opened
be
it
in
up.
BFE where Ken lives.
That's right. So, Josh, close us out. Tell us where the folks can find you, what's going on, and maybe you have something that's a little more on the rails in a normal podcast, but, it is the
Yeah,
off-season for both of us.
Well, thanks for having me. You guys do an awesome thing. I'm sure any other NASCAR podcast is awesome, man. So it's really cool what y'all are doing. We are Knockahoma Nation, so we're on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Castbox. If you're a podcast nerd, download Castbox. It's like the best podcast app out there.
Huh.
Unless you guys aren't on it, in which case it's not the best podcast app out there.
Might be. I don't know. It ain't
But,
no telling. We just got on
it's pretty good.
Podknife, whatever that is.
If it's non-subscriber, we're probably there.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, you probably are. But at Knockahoma NTN is our Twitter. And website knockahomanation.com and everything. So if you like Braves baseball, give us a follow.
Well, and even if you don't,
Clearly do anyway.
you're guaranteed to have some fun.
It is fun.
Yeah.
Either way, we're going to have fun. So with that, Sherwin, let's close this thing out, I guess. I'll bring the music up, and I'll bring the, the tone down, or whatever we want to call it.
However we're doing
Yeah,
it.
however we're doing it. Y'all know where to find us. It's PETMpodcast.com, at PETM Podcast. Just search, do the thing. We just got on Podknife. I even tweeted out, I'm like, I don't know what this is, but yeah, sure, why not? Hey, we're,
Thanks for the free promotion.
yeah, what did they say? They said something like it's, you'll get NASCAR and beyond. I was like, well, come for the NASCAR and stay for the beyond, I guess.
That's right. Beyond the Thunderdome.
Yeah, we were
from beyond.
definitely beyond tonight. We want to thank Josh for joining us, drinking. He's deep into his Rolling Rock there. And, y'all know what to do. And we'll definitely be here next week. As always, I'm Tailgate Mayor Rusty Wallace at Tailgate Mayor.
And I am Andrew Sherwin at Pregame Engineer, at Andrew L. Sherwin on the Instagram. As Rusty said, everything that we do is easy to find. If you Google PETM Racing Podcast, you will find your preferred method of consumption.
There it is. We'll talk y'all next week.
We're steering wheels and racing hard. We are NASCAR. We are NASCAR.
I forgot for a minute I was drinking tequila.
I'm going to leave that comment in there.
It's been a while since I had a good closer.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see how that sounds, actually. Yeah.
I forgot for a minute I was drinking tequila.
Yeah, that's how the show's going. That's perfect. I love it. Anyway, Josh, how about it? We are done with the recording, but we're still live on the
Hey,
YouTube.
thanks, guys. That was awesome.
Man, I mean, I hope you had fun. I know we probably didn't talk about as much Braves as we wanted to.
No.
Where was it?
Fine. It was great.
Where was it?
fun.
I was.
Y'all-
I don't know. Do you watch?
It would have felt forced. I think if you tried to talk about it too much, it would have felt. You guys were yourselves. It was perfect.
Yeah. You're in the right age group. Do you watch like Adult Swim on Comedy Central or not Comedy Central on Cartoon Network and all that? Are you into that stuff or no?
I'm not. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. There's a show and there's.
I'm not either. Rusty and
No,
our
it's-
other friends were
yeah,
way
yeah.
into Adult Swim, and I just
you're
couldn't
kind of
figure
into
out.
it or you're not. That's fine. There's
Yeah.
there's one show and there's this one character who's a huge sports fan. There's at one point he goes, "There's so many more stats I want to throw at you." It's exactly. I'm like, man, there's so many stats I want to throw at Josh. Let's talk
Yeah.
about mid '90s Braves for the rest of the night.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
awesome.
actually
That's
surprised.
awesome.
Sorry, I'm actually surprised that it didn't get more Bravesy.
Right. Well, I mean, I had fun.
It did kind of just swim on the surface there.
For the YouTube folks, I hope y'all had fun. It was like I said at the beginning, a chicane, something out of left field, right field, whichever field
we
we're
parked
going.
it in the ditch, minute 2.
A minute, if we even got to 2 minutes. So thank y'all for joining and everything. We're going to cut off the YouTube. Josh, stick around for a bit. But it was great hanging out with y'all, and as always, it's fun. So peace out. Till next time. Cheers. Let's get
Thanks,
going.
everybody.
Woo!
Redneck
Bye, y'all.
noise.
Bye, Laura.